Hey guys, welcome back to the campaign. After Cathra and the others rose as undead, we were kind of surprised to see that everyone just basically went back to their evening of eating and drinking without much thought. At this point, with everything that's been happening around the town for the last few weeks, everyone seems numb. The two people that outright died and didn't rise as undead have been carried out. The fireplace is blazing and people are talking and drinks are being served. Throughout the rest of the evening, we hear a few rumors. One of them is in the past 3 weeks, the villagers have counted 9 sudden deaths that have occurred. With what happened tonight, that makes 11. And there's been 6 murders. One of the 9 died suddenly, 7 were buried in sealed coffins, and 2 escaped into the night as zombies. People aren't really sure where those 2 went. Many people stare at Luke throughout the evening and sort of whisper if he's the reason behind this. We can hear the chatter, suspicious looks, and even angry looks toward Luke. Some people refer to him as a lost one. They tell us that he also has another brother named Gene, who has taken full control of the family business, which operates out of the big plantation outside of town producing sugarcane. So at this point, we know from the journal that he has a brother Marcel, and then he has another brother Gene. We eat and drink late into the night, and then we crash out. Around 7 in the morning, Sigmund has to make a constitution check to see if he's still feeling sick. If you remember, his constitution went down by 1 point, but it was just a temporary loss. And if he fails the check this morning, it's permanent. Right now, he has a 9 constitution. He's got to roll under it in order to shake this. Okay, it's going to be a permanent thing. His constitution is permanently reduced to 9. In the early hours of the morning, probably around 7 a.m., we are downstairs having some breakfast, and a piercing scream shatters the quiet. Everyone is eating, and you can just hear forks and knives and spoons dropping and hitting plates. Everyone looks toward the window outside. We immediately grab our stuff, jump up, and run out the front door to outside the courtyard here. And we need to make a wisdom check as a group. And let me say, these adventures aren't just streamlined railroads. This roll will determine where the adventure goes. If they pass or fail, it has 2 completely different outcomes that we will play out. So let's check it out. Right now there's 4 of us. We'll start with Ulrich. He needs under 10. He fails. Elena needs under 12. She gets it. So it's 1-1. St. Timothy needs under 15. Critically fails. Dude, come on. Sigmund needs under 10. He gets it. It's a tie, everybody. So since it's a tie, it's all gonna come down to Duke. And we're not gonna roll a wisdom check for him. We're gonna roll the yes or no die. Either yes or no, does Duke lead us in the right direction? He doesn't. We burst out of the gate there and we start headed this direction to the east. And once we get maybe down the road a little bit, we hear another scream, and suddenly we realize that we've went the wrong way. The scream comes from back over there. Unfortunately, we've arrived too late. We find Lillian, the innkeeper's daughter, lying dead in a pool of her own blood. We had just met her last night. There are little pieces of red licorice scattered all around the body, like the candy, and we are puzzled by this. What kind of sick person would kill somebody and then drop pieces of candy? St. Timothy immediately goes to work, but he discovers that she's been stabbed so many times that she's beyond healing. The town constable shows up. We tell him that we didn't make it on time, and he tells us not to be too hard on ourselves, that we couldn't have did anything about this or have known what was going on. He also says that every single murder that has occurred, these little red licorice pieces have been left scattered about. He's talking to Ulrich and says, oh, maybe you guys ought to go try to see who makes this candy. Ulrich agrees, and we just can't help but feel bad for the innkeeper and his wife. They're really nice people. at least from what we know of them. And this girl's probably 19 years old, and now she's became a victim. Ulrich looks toward Elena and says, we need to figure this out. Enough is enough. So we head over to the general store, which is run by Daruno. He's a dwarf. It's a family-owned business, and Daruno sells traveling equipment, foodstuffs, household goods, dairy, goat's milk, and all of that good stuff. He tells us that he doesn't sell licorice here, but Luis at the bakery does. And he says, have you found out anything about the murder? Ulrich's gonna make a charisma check here. He needs under 10. He gets it. For the first time, Ulrich steps forward and is really having a good conversation with the dwarf. He's just telling him what we're doing. We're here trying to help, and we hope to find the murderer, and if we do, we're gonna put an end to it. And the dwarf seems really receptive to what he's saying. Well, over the years, I've came across a few things, some of which might help you guys out a little bit. If I can help the cause, then I will. And he goes around and goes down in that little cellar over there and comes back out, and he's got a few items in hand for us. He gives us 6 arrows plus 1, a potion of healing, and we get to roll a random item from the mundane table. So Elena's gonna get the 6 arrows plus 1. St. Timothy's gonna get the healing potion. Elena also has the dragon toy from the very first adventure, the carved wooden dragon toy that's worth 50 gold. And he says that he will buy that for 25 gold from Elena. So we're gonna roll on the mundane loot charts. I got 2 of these, but I'm gonna roll the dice just for fun. Do we roll on the weird items chart? Yes or no? We do roll on the weird items chart. Let's roll 100-sided. What do we got? We got 15. Okay. We have a giant egg. It's an item. Use warmth and time to hatch. Spawn 1 randomly chosen monster which bonds to you. Sweet, dude. We got a monster pet. Let's roll 8-sided and see how long it'll take to hatch. How many adventures away? Okay, in another 5 adventures, this egg will hatch. Leave a comment what kind of monster that you think this should be. So I want to give it some restrictions. It's got to be like humanoid size. We've got to get creative here. Has to come from an egg. What could it be? Can't be a dragon, because that'll grow bigger than a human. This bakery sells cakes, rolls, candies, all kinds of goodies. It smells amazing when you walk by the building. It's ran by Louise, and we soon come to find out that her specialty is red licorice. When we arrive, she immediately says, "Hi, Luke, how you doing? Good to see ya." And Luke doesn't say anything. He just stares as he usually does. She looks at him again, says, "Luke, hi, don't you remember me?" Luke says nothing. She whispers over to Ulrich and says, "It sure is a shame what happened to his brother Marcel. You know, everybody says he was killed by the undead." Ulrich says, "You got a lot of people buying the red licorice?" "Well, yeah, everyone loves my red licorice, but some buy more than others. More do." Ulrich says, "Who's that?" "Well, he's the town eccentric. Kind of a strange fella. Gene Tarascon. He buys it, Luke's brother." And everybody looks over toward Luke and makes the association that, wait a minute, the town is named after the Tarascons. Tarascon is Luke's last name. And she says, "Oh yeah, his family founded the village long ago. And his brother, Gene, he loves that red licorice that I make. And the Bordell children, they all seem to really enjoy it. Their parents are buying it for them. You know, the night Marcel died, villagers saw Gene carrying him to the church. I don't know what they thought the preacher was going to do up there, but typically you don't take him right to the church. You take him over to the cemetery. Anyway, let me get you some sweet treats for the road." We huddle up, and the picture is starting to become clear, although there's a few blank spots in that puzzle. First off, that Luke Tarascon, his family founded this village. He's got 2 brothers. Marcel was killed by undead and then taken to the church. Jean loves the red licorice that's been found on the murderers' bodies. We don't know if Jean's still alive. We know Marcel's dead, so it's gotta be Jean. St. Timothy says, I think we should head to the church. Talk to this preacher. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. We arrive at the church to find the preacher up in a pulpit. Looks like he's reading a book up there, and he casts his gaze upon us. He comes down to talk with us and says,
I have a story to tell you. One stormy night, Jean brought Marcel to me about a month ago. Marcel was quite dead, torn apart by undead hands. I retrieved a scroll from my small collection and attempted to raise poor Marcel, but something went wrong. Marcel remained dead and Jean cried out in anguish. He spirited away the corpse of his brother. That was the last I saw of Marcel, and the last time I saw Jean alive.
Now he also tells us that Marcel was the first to die in this string of horror. He cuts through Ulrich and Duke and Elena and walks right up to St. Timothy and says that Pelor has a gift for him. And he goes and grabs it from underneath of the pulpit and gives it to Timothy. This really ornate mace. It has 6 flanged steel ridges shaped kind of like sun rays. The entire thing has like a golden sheen to it that like catches on the light. And on the top of it, there's actually a stamp of a rising sun on the crown. It's really cool. It's a footman's mace +1. Inscribed on it, it says, "You shine so others may rise." Besides being a footman's mace +1, so it's basically a magic item, which is really cool. +1 to hit, +1 to damage. Whenever St. Timothy rolls a natural 20, everyone in the group gets to roll D4 and gain that back in hit points. That's really sweet. We've already been told that Jean runs the plantation outside of town, and we just confirm that with the preacher, and he agrees. This large farm was used to produce sugarcane. The grass is knee-high, and a white fence surrounding the property is in need of maintenance, and it's falling apart in several sections. The house is completely dark except for light spilling out of one of the large picture windows in the front. As we approach the plantation, suddenly Luke comes to a stop. And it's just like he will not go any farther. He will not approach the plantation. We leave Sigmund there to kind of guard him. Sigmund has the magic sword, remember, a +1 sword that we gave him. And so they're gonna stay sort of at the edge of town and just wait for us to get back when we go check this place out. Beyond the window lies a spacious dining room that has fine appointments, showing taste and wealth. Several candles fill the room with a warm and pleasant light. A large number of covered serving trays sit upon a big table in the center of the room, and places have been set. 3 servant girls enter from a side passage, their heads bowed deeply as they walk. One of them goes to the table. This servant girl right here, with a flourish, lifts up one of the lids of the serving trays, revealing tonight's meal. The remains of a freshly dead young man, and you can see that that's a head on that plate right there. Elena just gasps. Dried blood covers much of his flesh, and he's got a wicked cut that stretches from ear to ear, like they've chopped his head off. As we focus in, we start to realize what is happening here. You can kind of see that the serving girls look to be zombies. And as we're taking this all in, suddenly right in front of us, there's like a... And this thing appears right in our faces, right in front of the window. It's a ghoul. As that realization sets in, we realize that everyone in here is undead, and they are eating humans. Suddenly, the ghoul that just appeared in front of the window, there's a burst of glass, and it reaches out with its claw and grabs Elena and drags her into the room and dumping her onto the floor.